addiction in my terms is being so conditioned to a particular thing that you can no longer. It's like it becomes a part of you. Like it's something instinctual. I'll tell you this. Substance never gets into your life to take second place. It's always there for first place.
Interesting.
It doesn't do well, second, third, fourth place. It wants to be the king, right? So everything you do will be geared towards substance. If you have money, substance is the first thing you spend it on. Relationships, you don't mind killing relationships just to get that substance.
Yeah. What just comes to my mind when you say substance wants to be number one? I just hear substance wants to be God. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of NotFine Podcast. So today I'm speaking to Long, my very good friend. I would like her to introduce herself, then we'll kickstart the conversation.
Hello everyone, my name is Long or Longdi Lois, and I'm a psychologist and a clinical psychologist in training. Yeah, so that's me in a summary. That's just one part of me, Sha.
Yeah, and she's good. Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about something a lot of you must have thought about, but you have not spoken about it. It's substance use. And I think Long likes to talk about addiction. So we'll talk about addiction and substance use. And before we start having that conversation, I think I would like to say a little story about myself.
Okay.
When I was younger, I think SS2, SS3, there was a day when we're about to leave school. You know how you be talking to your friends about what you want to do outside school. And I'm there saying, oh, I'm going to play a lot of girls. And I just want to be the guy that smokes.
I'm judging you.
We listen, we don't judge. And interestingly, looking back, it was because of the aesthetic part. You know, you blow the smoke and just blow it out. And I didn't even want to smoke cigarettes to show how detailed I was about knowing what I wanted to do. I didn't want cigarettes. I just wanted weed because they will tell you that weed is healthy to the body and it also gives you inspiration and all that stuff. So I wanted to smoke weed. I said I was not going to take alcohol because alcohol was not sweet. But looking backwards now, I mean, talking from where I am now, I'm thinking I will have become an addict because I will have really gone in. And I'm saying that because some 2 years ago, I was with one of my friends. We were three in a room. We're having a conversation. Then one of us now leaves the room and goes out and lights a cigarette just to quickly smoke and come back and talk to us. And it got me thinking, like, wasn't this conversation enough to keep this guy with us? Like, why did he have to go out to go and smoke? I think I even had to do a poem about it because it really pained me because I was seeing myself. I was like, these were the people I had these conversations with. And somehow, I did not follow through. I think we'll talk about that later. I did not follow through with that. And I'm now seeing who I would have been if I did not do that. So first of all, I would like to ask you, what is substance use?
From the name already, substance use is very suggestive, meaning you are using a substance, right? And, well, should I give a short answer or a long answer?
I think you should give a long answer, then you not give a short answer.
Okay. So substance use is using a substance. Now, people can confuse it with substance abuse. That becomes a maladaptive use. So substance use can take different forms. You can use your phone as a substance. Your phone your phone can be a substance. Alcohol, weed, the popular ones, cigarettes, all of those things, they fall under the category of substance use.
Do you know that this is the first time I'm realizing that substance can be something that you do not drink or smoke? I used to think that substance is something you have to drink. It has to be like it has to go into you. Now realizing that substance can be anything.
Yeah.
So it is the use of it.
Exactly.
Wow, interesting. Is that the long or the short?
That's the long definition.
So what's the short?
the use of a substance, the use of anything, substance use.
So is substance use bad?
Well, not in itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
expatiate?
Yes.
The reason why I'm saying that substance use is not bad in itself is because if you really think about it, all of us use
Exactly.
substances.
All of us use substance.
Do you understand? But then there's a point that it becomes maladaptive. At that point,
What does maladaptive mean?
It simply means that it no longer works for your best.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, it becomes a problem to you. It begins to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's when we say something is maladaptive, we mean that it's no longer serving, it's no longer helping you.
It no longer helps you to be productive.
Exactly, right? It now becomes a problem. It becomes a weight to you. So that is, so now when you begin to use substance and it gets to the point that it's now beginning to become a problem to you, we call that substance abuse because it's the maladaptive use of a substance.
So is it you that is abusing the substance or the substance is abusing you?
I think it's both. You're both abusing it and it is abusing you right back. So it's give and take.
Okay. Because of this definition I've given now, I'm now thinking all of us have maladaptive substance use in our life, some form of, because if it is not your phone, it is something. And where are we going to draw the line? Can you know when something becomes maladaptive to you? Or it is when you get to the point of addiction? Or is addiction the same thing with the maladaptive? Are they the same?
So it's like a downward slope. I want you to picture it like as a downward slope, right? And the maladaptive use is like a tangent. You're going down. And at the end of that, the base of that tangent is addiction.
Okay.
Right? Yes. So it will not always start off as an addiction. It won't. But it's a journey. The more you use, the more you engage, you are going down that slope. And then going back up is difficult.
Okay.
So it's like it propels you downward.
Now, this slope thing you said is very interesting. I just saw myself on what they call that thing that we used to play on when we're small. That's
like a slide.
Yeah. And you know, it excites you when you slide down.
Yeah.
So you go and climb again, then you slide down. And from what I see in my head, from what you are saying, it is like that high of sliding down. But climbing up is hard. So when you get to the point of addiction, you are now like stuck. Now, I want to ask that, looking at the story I gave about myself, what can you say about that young boy that just feels like, oh, I just want to do this for the swag of it? What can you say about...
Your story is it's not peculiar to just you. Many people actually started that way. It was just, just something fun. I'm curious. Like everybody is doing it. Let me just try it. And there's a lot of swag around it from Nigerian movies, music videos. And I've heard a lot of people say, like personally to me, they tell me that, don't worry now. I can stop whenever I want to stop. Everybody's like, I can stop because like I told you, it's a downward slope. So you feel like the way it was easy for you to start, the way to be easy for you to stop. But it's all a mirage. It doesn't work that way, right? So for that young boy now, he thinks that is something that is one-off. But I see substance use as something that draws you in. Like once you engage it, you've introduced yourself to something new that will be difficult for you to cut off from, especially with the continuous engagement of it, with the continuous use of it, right? And that's why the best way to stay away from substance use addiction or any kind of addiction is to not even try it at all. Don't even awaken that desire, because chances are that you will return to it.
So from what you said now, if I were watching this, I would start to say, I think you are slipping back towards like all them weed and alcohol again. So I want to bring us to something like phone. Okay. For example, you have to use your phone. It's something that is integrated to every part of our lives now. And I honestly think a lot of us are addicted to our phones. There was a time I remember I started struggling with the use of my phone. It was so bad that I wake up in the midnight to scroll. And it was because I was following one of these stories online. You're just watching a story.
Yeah.
A drama is happening with this celebrity, and this celebrity replies this person. You're going back to check if this other person has replied. I started it and I thought I can stop this thing. It's just this gist, only this gist I want to know about. After this gist, I will stop. And that gist ended. Another gist came, and I found myself waking up, because sometimes the network in my house is bad. It used to be good in the night. So I will sleep, but my subconscious wakes me up when the network is going to be good, just for me to consume that stuff. So how can we bring it to everyday life? Now, I want us to talk about everyday life stuff that creates that maladaptiveness for people before we now go to the hard drugs and all those things. Yeah.
Okay, so permit me to go a little academic with you guys. So
that's why you're here now, psychologist.
So there are different schools of thought in psychology, but I want to narrow in a bit into the behaviorist school of thought. And we have people like Ivan Pavlov and B.F. Skinner that really pushed these theories. And there's something Pavlov pushed, and it's the theory of classical conditioning, right? And in simple terms, it just means that when you pair a neutral stimulus with another stimulus, if this one causes a particular response from a person. For instance, now, if I bring food and I realize that, anytime I bring this particular food, because it's your favorite dish, you begin to salivate. Right? And every time if I bring this food, I'll call your name, Gabriel, and I'll bring the food. If I continue to do that, bringing the food, I'll call your name, Gabriel, at a point, when I just say Gabriel, it will elicit that response of the watery, of the salivation, even without bringing the food. Right? That's the theory of classical conditioning. And that's what happens to us in everyday life. Every time we use for instance, now our phones, every time we pick up our phones, the pleasure we received when we remember how we used it yesterday.
Dopamine.
The release of dopamine, it begins to pair with just seeing the phone, right? Yeah. So you are compelled to carry the phone because there's a high you are chasing.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah. There are times I carry my phone without
even knowing why you picked it up. Yes. Exactly. And then before you know it, you are doom scrolling, right? You are looking for a high. You're looking for it. And then there's the theory of another behaviorist, B.F. Skinner and his colleague J.B. Watson, about the theories of operant conditioning, right? And this conditioning now is the conditioning of reward and punishment. So they realized that certain behaviors that caused negative, like punishment, things that were not very nice, things that were not pleasurable, people tend to shift from them. But the things that cause people to enjoy pleasure and the rest, they tend to drive themselves towards there. So in everyday life, you realize that you are naturally, instinctually looking for comfort, for rest, for pleasure. That's what you're driving at, right? So everything that gives you that pleasure is what you run towards. Whether it is your phone, whether it is food, whether it is substance, everybody is looking for pleasure at the end of the day. So I think that is how it ties down. It ties down into everyday life because, like we said, the use of the smartphone, the use of food, different things.
Right? I like how you're using the word use. You're making me see the word in a different way. We say we eat food, but now you're saying we use food.
Yes.
We can use food.
You can use food.
And from this second school of thought that you gave, there's this word that I learned, I think last year, hedonist.
Okay.
Most of us are hedonistic, always searching after pleasure. And sometimes I think that we should condition ourselves in ways that help ourselves. Because if we are used to only pleasure, we will not understand the meaning of life. Because life itself has a way of bringing suffering to us.
Yes.
So if we have now entered a place where we cannot control ourselves, is that what you mean by being maladaptive?
Well, it's not synonymous. Something being maladaptive is not synonymous with being, not being able to control yourself, right? But it will get to the point where that lack of self-governance, that lack of self-control, that lack of being able to control yourself will cause you to live a maladaptive life. It will cause you to live situations that will hurt you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you can see people that are well-meaning, people that are very intelligent, people that had plans, but you look at them and you're like, why can't you just stop doing this? Well, it's not that they don't want a good life. It's where they've gotten to.
Okay.
Right.
Is the maladaptiveness the same thing as dependence?
No. Okay, let me just clarify some things now. When I say something is maladaptive, I mean that it is not allowing you to live your life the way it should be. It has become harmful to you. Okay, so let me compare and contrast with the word adapt. When we say something is an adaptive measure, it means it helps you to adapt to your life, your situations, to get better.
It brings back to mind the definition of mental health that says that it is the ability to be able to cope with the normal stress of life. So that coping there, is it like
it's an adaptive feature?
Yeah.
Exactly. You need coping to adapt.
Yeah.
So when we say something is maladaptive, it means that you can no longer function well in the reality you have found yourself.
You can no longer cope normally.
Exactly.
Or healthily. You are now coping in a dysfunctional way.
In a dysfunctional way, yes.
So I need you to define dependence.
Dependence is when the body can no longer function without a particular substance.
So when
physiologically,
I cannot do what I need to do if I don't open my phone, or when I cannot do what I need to do without a shot of alcohol, or when I cannot do what I need to do without puffing. Interesting.
Yeah, when your body can no longer function without it.
Can you also now define addiction?
Addiction, in my terms, is being so conditioned to a particular thing that you can no longer. It's like it becomes a part of you. Like it's something instinctual, right? And you can no longer live normally without using that substance or without using that thing. Now, this is where addiction and dependence becomes a confusion, because dependence is something that is really physiological. And I will not say addiction is not physiological. I will just say that for dependence, you literally cannot, it's like you cannot live without it, right? And that's why you see that maybe some people are addicted to certain like painkillers and the rest, because their bodies have found a way to live with it. So when you try to take it away, it's like you're killing the body. Right? That is dependence. Now, addiction is more like a psychological phenomenon, where a person genuinely believes that if they feel like if they do not engage that thing, they cannot be normal. So the dependence aspect is more of the physiological aspect, while the addiction aspect is the psychological aspect, where someone genuinely believes that I need this thing to work, I need this thing to live, I need this thing to get to where I need to be. I can't live without that. That is addiction.
So when you cannot do something, when you cannot live without it, is addiction. But dependence is when
your body.
Okay.
Without
so dependence is body.
That's why I said dependence is more physiological. Addiction is more psychological.
Okay, yeah. I feel you. So now I would like us to now move to what everybody is thinking.
Okay.
The substance, the alcohol, because I want us to touch a bit of culture, so that this conversation can have a bit of meaning. Yeah, because as that young boy at that time, for me, I think I didn't know the effects, or maybe the system was hiding the effects away from us and pushing some pros towards us, like, oh, you'll be a big boy, the girls will follow you. Then I will now become that my friend I saw. Then I can't stop, because there was this my friend too that reached out to me one time. I think that was when I had to say, thank you God, though, that I didn't even start this thing. This my friend is one of the persons I respect his willpower a lot. He's the person that if he says, I will do this, he will do it. And when he says, I'll stop this, I'll stop it. Yeah. He will stop it. And one day he told me that he's trying to quit smoking. He has studied everything he can study. He has tried everything he can try, and he feels like he's giving up. Then I knew that if this guy cannot get out of that, I probably won't have been able to get out of it. That's why when I see people addicted to these substances, I really can't judge them. And that's part of why we're here now, to have this conversation, so that maybe we can even try to stop some people from getting in. And for those that are there, probably shine some form of hope for them to help them see that they can come out of these things. So now, culturally, what do you think are the things that sponsor people getting into this trap?
Culturally, I can think of a couple of things because, people say, well, let me not generalize, but some people say that alcohol is something that is cultural. Like, I remember there was this particular client that expressed that he could try to, live a life of sobriety, but it's not something that he can't promise that he will never indulge, because when he goes back to the village, I mean, it's something that you need to, it's part of the fellowship, the community, right? So that's one way culture pushes it. And then there's also the the secular culture, the pop culture, right? That pushes the use of drugs, and it glorifies it in a certain way that makes people that use it feel like supermen, like they know something that other people do not know. So all these are part of the factors that push people into substance use, right?
I've even seen where, do you know that if you're around friends that smoke or drink, though, if you can't afford to buy it, they're going to...
The fellowship is strong. Like, the bro code is strong. They will buy for you.
Yeah, but those same people will not give you money to solve your life's problem, but they can buy you a bottle of drink.
Yeah.
So now, to the young people out there, how can we now push to them that you may regret making this decision? Because looking back, I think part of the reasons, let me now say the reasons why I did not follow through. I didn't follow through because I didn't have the opportunity to. And maybe, I don't know, I didn't get admission immediately after school, so I wasn't with my friends. So being at home made me to think about my life, and I just became serious. I was not thinking about, I was thinking about how to get into school. So by the time I got into school, I felt like I was behind. So there was no time to really, I mean, there were times I even went to my friends and said, today I really want to try this weed. Let's find weed. And those were the days that there was no weed available. And I tried and it was not just working. Yeah. But let me make a confession. Last year, because I used to ask my friend, what does it feel like to be drunk? I want to understand what you guys are. Before I start to criticize this thing,
get your perspective.
I want to understand what this is. So I told my friend that, okay, one day I'll come to your house. Let's buy alcohol. I want to take it and feel the high, and at least even know my threshold. And we did it. So two of my friends, they were really happy to say, oh, finally, and I think there is a religious reason behind all of these things too. Sometimes when religious sets laws, people really want to break the laws. And when they break the laws, they find the consequence and they can't get out of it. So they slide down like that. And when they get to the point of maladaption, they can't do anything to help themselves. But I think I developed my identity to a level where I could make decisions for myself. That was part of why I felt safe trying that experiment. So we bought the alcohol. It was not sweet. We mixed it. I took it. In fact, they were already tired. That was when I realized I even have a very massive threshold.
High threshold.
And after everything, I started throwing up. I mean, that's why I did it in a closed environment, so that I won't disgrace myself. I threw up. I felt sick. I was not just feeling good. And after everything, I started asking myself, why would I do this to myself? I don't understand. I don't know if you have tried. I'm sure you have not tried it. But that was why I started asking myself, why would I do this to myself? I mean, I can understand there was a point when we're drinking that I could feel a form of vulnerability. Like I could see that everybody was not holding back again. We're quite in another environment. That was the sweet part. But the consequence for me was not
outweighed.
Yeah, so I won't do it. But now, how can we help others that have not tasted it to not get into it?
So the first thing I wanted to say was that we should preach the message of abstinence. But I realized that the more you preach the message of abstinence, the more you spark curiosity.
Exactly.
So what I would say, right, is the people who are in, can you share your stories?
Yeah, there's somebody I want to bring to talk about. He told me that he actually stopped by doing cold turkey. And I don't understand. Like, he just woke up one day and realized that this thing is not helping my life. I'm going to stop. And he stopped. And, okay, let me not say the story. I really want him to come up and say the story.
Okay. Well, yeah, some people do stop cold turkey. It depends on the substance they use. It depends on the time that they've been using. There are different factors, right? Because in fact, majority, about 70% of people do not stop cold turkey. 70% of people are in for life. 70% of people 70% of people are more likely to die as people addicted to substance than they are to have like stopped or abstained or been sober. Right? So I will not encourage you to think that there's a day that you can stop cold turkey, because why haven't you stopped?
Exactly.
So don't tell yourself that. But also I'll encourage you to, if you are let me speak to the people that are already in that space of addiction. If you are there, now is the best time to stop. I know there is this facade, especially when it comes to issues of addiction, to think that tomorrow I will stop tomorrow. Tomorrow never arrives. Tomorrow is forever in the future. But you have to make the decision now. Even if it doesn't mean you will stop now, make the decision that I will not continue this. Make that decision. Start from there.
Because I want to ask a question now about relapse. Because I think I've learned, please correct me if I'm wrong, I've learned that relapse can be part of your healing process. Because sometimes people cancel themselves when they relapse. And I got to this place because of what you said. At least just make the decision. Whatever happens during the process of the decision can be part of the process of the decision. So, because I think I've been addicted to some things, yeah? And I realized that, I'll say I'm going to stop. And when I find myself doing it again, and I say I'll stop and I'll do it again, I think with each decision, my will keeps weakening. Then I get to a point where I just say, I can't stop this thing. I'll just continue. Do you think that relapsing can be part of the process? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, because even in psychology, when you check the circle of change, relapse is part of the circle of change.
Interesting.
So there's room for relapse, right? But before I come back to this, please remind me the question just in case I miss it. I want to speak to the people that have not tried substances. I'll tell you that listen to the stories of people who think like you but are there now. Many people thought that they would never be addicted. They all thought that I will stop tomorrow, but they are where they are today, right? So listen to their stories and hear. Don't assume you are a great person. You are a person of great value. You are not like others. You are unique, yes, but try and look at the numbers. You realize that the numbers do not favor you, right? So don't even start. Don't allow yourself to be awakened to that desire, right? And then people that are in there, please share your stories. It will help others. It's you guys that are the voice, because you are the ones that will show people that you've been there before and you're speaking from experience. Now,
and to add to that, I will say that honestly, you think, now I'm speaking to those that have not started, you think it will make you look cool. But that in itself is an identity problem. Because if you think that you need something to make you cool, you have not really set your identity in stone. So when you have your identity properly compact, because most times when people do these things, there's something they're trying to cover. When they take substance, or there's something they're trying to cope with. And instead of using something else to cover what you're trying to cope with, why not just face the problem head on? Because most times it's challenges that push people. Heartbreak, you have gone to start smoking, or you're taking alcohol, or you fail. So instead of running away from stuff, I think we should learn to face it. So the question I think you're going back to now is
relapse, right?
Yeah, relapse.
Yeah. So first, there's something that I believe strongly, right? And is that you cannot break a habit you have not come to hate. So you cannot romanticize that substance and think you can break from it. You must have gotten to the point where you hate where you are, where you hate the substance. That's the only way change can come.
That's rock bottom.
That's rock bottom. You must have, and some people hit rock bottom, but they are not even conscious that they've hit rock bottom. They are not even self-aware that they've hit rock bottom, right? So I find it difficult to work with someone, with a client that has not come to that self-awareness and has not made the personal decision for themselves that, you know what, I hate this life. I hate the life I'm living. I hate this substance. I want to stop. That kind of person, you cannot, there's a proverb, they say you can force a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink. The best you can do is to try to rouse up the person's motivation to stop.
So are you saying that you cannot make the person hate it? You
can't make the person hate it, right? But you can help the person hate it. How? By bringing the person's consciousness to the problems that it is causing them, right? By showing them how much better their lives would have been without it. So these are the ways that we call it motivational interviewing in psychology. So these are some of the ways that you bring a person to a place where they by themselves, you are not trying to make the decision for the person, but you are trying to make the person see reason why they should make the decision. And you have to be very persuasive, because some people, they've gotten to the point where they lack insight, where they are like, I don't care, like they are that spot, so they cannot think about it. So you have to bring it to their awareness. You have to bring them to that consciousness. So, while I would say that relapse is something that can happen, I would tell you to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. So don't anticipate the relapse. Live your life daily hoping that you will not relapse. But when that happens, count your losses, like cut your losses and pick up the pieces and move. Right? That's what I would say. So a relapse is not the end of the journey. It actually informs you on how you can improve. So for instance, if you had a relapse, and you know, there are two ways you can approach that. You can approach that as the person that is like, I'm finished. I don't think I can ever get out of this place. And you can approach it as the other person who now says, what just went on? Let me backtrack and find out where what triggered it. So you begin to go back, and then the relapse becomes an educative process for you. It strengthens your journey. But if you tell yourself that your journey has ended, then you are sabotaging yourself. So what you do is to go back. What triggered me? What happened? How did this thing begin again? Okay, was it when I hung out with my friends? Was it when I felt low? Was it when I was stressed? Then it's okay, it's stress. Okay, when I was stressed, what happened? Okay, I was trying to look for something that will make me feel happy. And I tried this. And then I realized that week I was lonely. So you begin to see the dots connecting themselves, and then you prepare yourself and fortify yourself for the journey ahead. So that's what I'll say concerning relapse.
I want you to come out of your psychological room now to talk about how community can help us leave these things or not to enter into these things. Because you know that you were talking about what you will tell the person to do. And I was seeing it like you talking to your patients. Now I want you to talk to the brothers at home. You know, sometimes it takes that person running down the family for the person to realize that, oh, I saw an interview of a lady that was addicted. I think you sent it to me, where she was saying that her father sent her to school, gave her the best schools and education and all that, and she kept wasting everything, and she was on the streets already, and she was regretting her life. At that point, she was saying, oh, now I need help. Anything you guys can do for me, I'm going to take it and all that. I think that's what you were talking about when you were saying that you need to hate it.
Yeah.
At that point, she has hated it, but she has damaged, she has wasted resources. A lot of things have. So how can we, as community, manage that kind of situation, or help ourselves not to get to that place? Because some people, I know you have experienced, some people text you and they're saying, please borrow me 2,000, and you already know what they're going to do with that money. It's not, they don't need them. I will get to a point where we'll talk about how substance use affects us personally and our finances and our lives. Yeah. But now I just want us to talk about the community aspect.
Okay. So, speaking about community, there's the person that is addicted, and there are the loved ones, the friends, the family that are associated with this person. So how can they help? First of all, is to give the person a safe space to figure themselves out, right? And a safe space is not necessarily pamper. Sometimes it has to do with the tough love. So when you see your brother, your sister, in the brink of addiction, and a lot of things are going on, things are going haywire, right? The first thing you should do is not to see how to rescue them.
Okay.
Give them room to figure it out. Let them feel the pain. It helps them hate it. Let them feel the problems. Let them experience it. Let them experience it, because when you keep saving them, you are reinforcing a behavior. I can do this and I'll fall back into a net.
Yeah.
But when you allow them feel it, you are giving them room to hate it for themselves. Right? So that is, and then on the side of the family, it doesn't have to become the identity of the family. Right? And I know it's easier said than done, but you don't have to internalize it and say we'll failed as a family. Yes, there may have been things that could have been done better, right? But at the end of the day, it's a choice the person has made.
Okay.
Right? So as the family, allow the person to feel the heat. Let them feel the heat. It helps them to hate it. It helps them to get to the point where they're like, I don't want to live this life anymore. Right? So I believe that is where community can come in. However, there is also the place of acceptance, meaning you are allowing the person to fight their battles, but you are also offering them that space where you can also cover them.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that when you see someone, so you push them away and say, don't come back. No, right? But I'm trying to say that when they return, receive them.
Okay.
When they leave, let them go. But don't stand at the door and say you can't come in. Like the prodigal son.
Yeah, that was all coming to my mind.
Yeah, the prodigal son.
Yeah.
When he came to his father did not say no. He let him go, because there are sometimes you have to learn the lessons. Somebody cannot teach you.
They can't give you the process.
They can't give you the process. So sometimes you have to go and squander it and eat the pig's food and be insulted for you to come back to your senses, because that's what the Bible says. The person came back to his senses. So sometimes you need that hard hit to come back to your sense. And then you turn and you return. And when you get to the door and you're like, Daddy, I'm done. And your family is there and they're like, yeah, we've been waiting for the time you come back. Now we are here to help you work it out. Do you understand?
Yeah, so that kind of person, you're not going to give the person money, or you're going to, reduce the money you give the person.
See,
or you just treat them normally.
You are not even going to try to be diplomatic. Money does not do well in the hands of an addict.
Okay, good. So this exact statement leads me to my next question. Is money a substance?
Money can be a substance. Money in itself is not a problematic substance, but we give it meaning.
Yeah. Makes sense. So I can use money as a substance.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So there's this, I think this will be the last question I'll ask, then we'll wrap up. I've seen a trend of how substance use, in the way you have explained it, affects our life, and the easiest way to see it is our finances.
Yeah.
So I think that if we can even, maybe there will be researches about this, that if you're addicted, you may be losing money or something, because the way you can easily even tell a friend or somebody that is addicted is the person starts to ask for money a lot. They start to borrow money here. They just don't have money always. They just need this little money and all that stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think that, and I'm using money now as a metric, do you think that substance use has a way of reducing optimal living, health, finances, relationships, all the different aspects of our lives?
I'll tell you this. Substance never gets into your life to take second place. It's always there for first place.
Interesting.
It doesn't do well, second, third, fourth place. It wants to be the king, right? So everything you do will be geared towards substance. If you have money, substance is the first thing you spend it on. Relationships, you don't mind killing relationships just to get that substance. So, like I said, it doesn't do well with second place. It wants to be the king of your heart. So, naturally, everything will be sacrificed on the altar of substance. That's why you see people would sell their parents' land for chicken change just to get the next high. They will sell cars. They will drop their degrees. They will end their marriages and live somewhere because they are chasing the next high. So, back to the question you asked about finances. Yes, it will take a toll on their finances. It will crash it down. It will crash because substance is, like I said, it's not coming for just a small. It wants to possess everything about you. So it will take your finances. It will take your relationships. It will take your dreams. It will take your health. It will take your life. That's the end goal. It doesn't stop. It stops at your life. That's why, sadly, we hear so many stories of overdose. That is the end goal. That's the goal. It wants to take everything, including your life.
When you say this thing, what just comes to my mind? When you say substance wants to be number one, I just hear substance wants to be God.
Absolutely.
He wants to be the God of your life. And if you let it, you become the slave of it. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think we should have another conversation that streamlines on addiction. I'm sure that if you have watched this, you enjoyed it too, because I enjoyed, I learned a lot, and we'll have to bring Long again to the conversation to talk to her. Thank you. So thank you very much, guys. If you have any question or you have any contribution, please drop it in the comment section. You can like, subscribe, share, and you'll be helping somebody out there.
Yeah.
Like she said, these stories need to be out there for those that have not started and for those that have started so they can quit. We all have substances in our lives. It's how we use them and the control we have over them, the mastery we have over them that makes them not to master us. So guys, I think you should take care of your minds, and you can check out Long's pages.
Hey Long on Instagram, HEYLONGG.
Yeah. She's good at what she does, as you can see. So guys, take care of your minds and peace.